Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to NJPW Puroresu Review. I am your co-host, Undersea. Right over here, it's the show poodle herself. It's Melball. How you doing, Melball?
I am doing great, Andre. Right before we went on live here, I saw a very large, beautiful looking standard poodle with a very show cut. There were pom-poms everywhere, pom-poms on the butt, pom-poms on the ankles. It was glorious. It was great. It looked like a small fuzzy cow. How are
Yeah,
you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. I was hoping you were going to say something because I really didn't want people thinking that I think you're a poodle. So,
I mean, if my hair was like, if I let it out right now, it would probably Lion King up, and I could probably make myself look like a poodle.
yeah, but I just was hoping you would explain that because I was like, I don't want to sound like a
You
jerk.
calling me a dog, sir, huh? You calling me a dog?
The prettiest
Rude.
of the dogs, the poodle, I
The
guess.
prettiest bitch you'd ever meet, right?
I didn't say that. We'll say I did not say that.
It's the right term. It's the correct use of the term, if we're being honest. But we're getting off track here. We're here to talk about wrestling, Andre, but you have to tell me how
Wrestling.
you're doing also.
I'm doing good. My core is sore, and it's only going to get more sore because I worked out with a local independent wrestler, my trainer, Rich King, this morning. And I'm dying on the inside. I'm dying on the inside. By the inside, I mean my core, because I'm already feeling it in my sides. I'm just sitting here, and I'm just like uncomfortable as hell. And like when I was sitting here, was it Wednesday night when we did our live show? I had done Russian twists earlier in the day, and I felt exactly the same way. And I'm just like, uh
Yeah, I told you from experience when you first start those crazy core things, it's just going to hurt to breathe for a while because you're activating them. What are they called? Obliques?
something
Activating
like
your
that.
obliques and every like that. I think that's the side ones.
I think so.
Yeah. I remember when I started, like I had trouble sleeping because just breathing would hurt.
Oh yeah.
This too
That
shall pass, my friend. This too shall pass.
I missed my workout with him last week due to work schedule changes. But the week
Mm-hmm.
before, the next two nights, that night and the night after, were hard to sleep because my midsection hurt so badly. So
Don't let that
yeah,
deter you, ladies and gentlemen. It is worth it.
it is. My shirts are getting insanely loose. I mean, you can see it. It's in my shirt here. The shoulders are
Mhm,
starting to fall a bit. Yeah,
mhm.
I'm wearing 4XLs now, which is making me super happy because I was a 5XL guy.
Yes.
Now I've got 4XLs that like they're not loose on me yet, but they fit, so I'm happy.
Yay! Working our way down there.
I'm
We'll
gonna
have
get
you
there.
in your United Empire Club Venus shirts comfortably in no time.
Hopefully. But we're that's it for our catch up. It's time to get into what you've tuned in for. The
Mhm.
wrestling. Before we do that, I want to thank each and every one of you guys. We appreciate all the great support you guys give us here. Please keep liking the video, subscribing to the channel, commenting down below, sharing it out to all your friends, family, enemies, strangers, whatever. And also, don't forget to hit the notification bell so you can alert every time we drop a new video.
Hello.
I'm downstairs. I'm not going all the way upstairs for that. No, I'm good.
You're sore. You're sore. It's
Sorry, I'm too sorry.
understandable.
I'm too sorry. And if you're listening to us in audio form on Sunday Night's Main Event, please go over to sundaynightsmainevent.com, give them a like and a follow on all the podcast catchers. You can comment on Apple Music and Google Play. Throw them a comment. Throw them a 5-star rating. We really would appreciate it. Even if you hate us, give us a 5-star rating and then say we love everything except for Andre and Melba. I'm fine with that. Just give Sunday's Main Event a 5-star rating because we love those guys. We appreciate all the great support they are giving us. So thank you very much. And so
Yeah.
we're going to get into this. We're going to get into it. We're going to talk some February 4th and February 5th of the New Beginning Tour. I'm on the wrong graphic to start with. I'm going to pop back to that. That's the end of my slides. I'm bad at my job. But whoever
Let's
said
try
I was...
again.
There we go.
Yay!
Well, wrong button. I keep hitting the
There we
wrong
go.
buttons, and it's messing me up. So we're gonna kick it
Glorious,
off.
glorious chaos.
So before this match even happened, There's like an abrupt cut in, and it's the War Dogs beating down Jeff Cobb. And they're beat because Jeff Cobb got a thigh strain. I think it was they announced.
I think so.
And he had to be removed from his match with Alex Coughlin. Yeah. And O'Con was announced as beat up, but the War Dogs are beating the piss out of him. And then Young Lions start to get involved, and they beat the piss out of the Young Lions. And and David Finlay's just having the time of his life because he's a dickhead. But yeah.
He's not a dick. Well, he is being a bit of a dick, but this is what we expect out of Bullet Club leadership at this point. And like, especially with the last year of build, I mean, he was pretty quiet. I mentioned it a few times. He was pretty quiet while building the War Dogs. Last year, I think he was trying to build something pretty credible to be able to step out with, and now he's built them into former tag team champions. So now I think we're going to really start to see that evolution of David Finlay's attitude and this new persona of the Bullet Club leader.
Yeah. And again, I very much liking this David Finlay. I enjoyed the way he was building himself last year, and I'm enjoying him stepping out of the shadows. With a title win, he's making himself very prominent, and it's like, I am the guy. I am the measuring stick. You cannot beat me. That is the way he's going. So I'm very much liking him in what he's doing here.
Same. Very much so.
I just don't like who he's beating up because I'm a big United Empire fan. As you can see with for those watching a video, the banner behind me says United Empire on it. Melball's wearing a Catch 2 shirt. So, and I've got one of those too. It just doesn't fit me super well yet.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
So we're gonna jump over 10-man tag team match for the undercards. We're just gonna go through. We're gonna give. Just gonna talk about the finish, things like that. We're not gonna go detail into the undercard matches. It's El Desperado, Oleg Boltin, Shota Umino, and Togi Makabe, and Yoshi-Hashi taking on House of Torture's Evil, Ren Narita, Sho, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, and Yujiro Takahashi with the Dick. So at the end of the match, the Dick is choking Makabe with Makabe's own chain, but he fights him off, dispatches a couple of members of House of Torture, and he ends up slamming Evil and is heading to the corner to go up to the King Kong knee drop. But Sho gets up on the apron, has the wrench, it ends up distracting the referee, and Kanemaru slides in. Santori surprise, whiskey to the eyes. And Evil hits everything as Evil to Makabe, and he gets the win. Desperado ended up chasing Sho to the back after, and House of Torture attacked Umino after the match. Because with Evil and Umino's upcoming Never title match, and Evil's like in the ring with the title, but he keeps dropping it, and then he picks it up, and he goes to the floor after Umino slides in the ring, and he starts spray painting the fucking belt black. The piece of shit. I'm like, I really like the look of the Never title. It's one of those ones I actually really enjoy. I'm like, you bastard. Yeah. And then Shota chases him to the back and like throws a table at the entranceway.
Yeah, it's funny because Shota is all about the people, but like when he gets to that point of like anger, he don't care. He just yeets everything. Couple interesting feuds happening in this match. I thought that the feud between Desperado and Sho continuing to be very prevalent to me. I felt it was actually more on display than whatever's going on between Shota and Evil. And Sho, I really don't know how I feel about this character because I really love Sho's in-ring ability, but the acting, like you can see by the picture, he's over dramatic, and he's the most over dramatic person in this picture, and that's how he's performing. You know, what could be just a face is a face for him, and it's weird. Like it gets to a point that it's cringe. This match he was very, very unhinged, very acting erratically and just ha 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 ha. Like he was looking legitimately insane. And I'm trying to figure out, is that the character he's kind of going for? I'm not entirely sure. For me, it's missing a mark. But I feel like with Desperado, it's working because we can't get that type of erraticness out of Desperado because he's wearing a mask.
Hmm.
We don't get that range of facial expression. So I feel like Show is kind of doing the reacting for both of them. And I feel in this feud that it actually works. Um, but Red Rita kind of being a little pushed to the side when I thought originally him and Shota were going to kind of have a thing. It's like they started to continue having a feud, and then Evil has just kind of like shoved him to the side and made, no, my time. I don't care to see it. I know
No.
why it's happening because we have the never openweight title on Evil, and Shota should be going after a title. But maybe it's just because I don't think that Evil is a credible leader in House of Torture anymore. That it's bothering me that he's getting a little bit more of a spotlight. Last thing I wanted to mention is Bolton Oleg was a beast for his team in this match. That is it the gut wrench hold that he does where he just flips him back and forth?
The Shayna Baszler type, Baszler's like swing around. It's like like a gut wrench swing around. Oleg doing it, but just making it look like just the easiest thing in the world. Oh, so good.
Easy. So good. I really like that. And he did that. What did he do that on? Did I write down? I didn't write down who he did it on. Oh, Show. It was Show he did it on in this match. I think the next match was somebody else that he did it on. But yeah, I feel like Bolton Oleg, he's starting to make those steps. He's starting to come out of his shell a little bit. Oddly enough, I think it took Oscar Loibe and Yuto Nakashima going on excursion for him to feel comfortable enough stepping up and starting to perform. And now he's got to kind of be that leader because he's kind of like the more veteran, I guess, young lion of this bunch. So I'm very happy to see him stepping up in this one and having a little bit more personality, having a little bit more fun. And I feel like the team that he was working with worked with him very, very well to help put him over.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. I'm a big fan of Bolton. Like I think this dude, he's got a good future.
100%.
They're gonna build him up like a Brock Lesnar, almost like not obviously the bad stuff about the guy, but like they're gonna have him be that like eventually turn him into that just like beast of a man that just runs through people. That's what he's once he comes back from his excursion. That's what he's gonna be. He's gonna be that like the next big thing of New Japan kind of guy. That's what he's gonna be.
And he's slowly unlocking that personality. I really like seeing it.
Oh, very much so. Very much so. So we move on. Before we get to the next match, the video played. They announced that Mina Shirakawa will challenge Mayu Iwatani for the IWGP Women's Championship on the February 23rd show. For New Beginning, I'm so excited. Mina Shirakawa is the IWGP Women's Champion. That's all. That's the only outcome that can be reality. Is Mina Shirakawa winning this belt? That's the only outcome. That is the only outcome.
I am hoping for this as well because, gosh dang, Mina Shirakawa has been the Kenta of Stardom in the last little while. Kenta has been really kind of getting the short end of the stick. Mina Shirakawa, same thing. Every time she's almost like has a donut dangled in front of her nose, and right when she's about to grab it, it's yanked away. She's just following it throughout her career. I don't like that. She has worked so hard, leaving Cosmic Angels, forming Club Venus, having Club Venus pretty much abandon her and having to reform a new faction. She's been working so hard and doing it all with that pretty smile. She deserves this title, and she deserves a good title run, and she deserves to be traveling, defending this title. But what I think is going to be the greatest part of this is that the NJPW fans who don't know her get to see her intro dance. So good.
Yay. Yay.
Yes.
Let's go,
Hope
Mina.
I hear it tonight. That would be great.
Let's go, Mina.
Mina.
So we move on. 6-man tag. It's God, El Phantasmo, and Hikuleo teaming up with Tomoaki. I almost said Tamatanga. I don't know why. Tomoaki Hanma.
It's a little different.
Different ma at the end. different at the end. Tomoaki Hanma taking on the Bullet Clubs, Chase Owens, Kenta, and Taiji Ishimori, the pit bull.
Mm-hmm. The tiny pit bull.
Yeah, the fan dressed up as Kenta by the entrance. We got a
So
Kenta.
cute.
And
So cute.
Kenta even gave him the too sweet.
I mean, you have to at that point. You
Oh yeah.
have to. Because even if you're a heel, it's like, come on, dude.
So big announcement. ELP was joining commentary later tonight, but the big announcement for the New Japan Cup. Gino Gambino will be on the English commentary for the entire tour. Let's go.
Doki choki.
I can't wait. I can't wait to hear
I am
Gino
going
again.
Yeah, I'm going to freak out the first time I hear him say Doki Choki because you know that's going to come out. You know it's going
Yeah.
to come out, and I've been waiting for it. I love that Kevin and Chris Charlton, they try. Chris Charlton tried recently. But man, nothing beats a good Gino Jokey Choki.
Nope. I got one highlight in this match before I go to the finish. Ishimori getting ELP in the tree of woe, runs up for the drop kick and then just stops in front of him, climbs up, and he starts doing the O Canada, stepping on ELP's balls. Which is what ELP used to do.
Yeah.
It's just like, I'm like just because they were the world's cutest
World's
tag
cutest tag team.
and just for your ex partner to step on your balls like that and steal your step on somebody's balls move from you was great.
Well, I mean, arguably also purple nurples were his thing, and we've seen that stolen a lot
Yeah.
recently. Yeah.
So Chase at the end of the match, though, comes Chase hits Hanma as he's coming off the second rope with the tag title. He's going for the second rope Kokeshi. Gets hit with the tag title. Then Chase hits him with the package pile driver for the win. Chase and Kenta then steal the IWGP tag titles after the match.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I have some funny highlights. I have some funny highlights to add. So at the beginning there, when God came out, uh, just kind of, I know that Hamna's not your regular dude, but like maybe don't consider leaving him alone in the ring with these three members of Bullet Club. I don't know. I'm just happy they didn't attack him before these two got to the ring. But ELP and Hikuleo went out into the crowds. They've been like giving like children and like small people the titles to hold when they're you know what I mean. They're giving them the
Small
titles.
people.
Well, like I'm a small
So
person, bruh.
PC.
I am
That's so
3'3".
PC of you, small people.
Well, like they're small women. Come on, women and children. Fine, the women and children. They put the titles on them to take pictures with them and give them the hearts and everything, and it's cute. But Hikuleo ended up in a weird area, and he couldn't get back down very easily. I don't know if you noticed when he came down, he came by these two women, and he stepped on the chair that was like in between a group of people, and he brought his leg over top of the two women. The two women were just like, "Huh?" This 7-foot man just suddenly like bringing his foot over your head. The second woman didn't even know that he was coming over top of her head until his foot was in her face. And she kind of freaked out a little bit. It was really funny to watch them
Well,
kind of
woman
fangirl.
number one might not have been looking at his leg. She might have been looking at something else.
I mean, he was in full stretch over top of her. She would be staring right up his booty hole. Um, I loved in this match that ELP particularly was so determined to include Hamna in absolutely everything. He was so desperate to make him feel
The
a
high
part of the
five.
team. The high five, moving the hand down for him, because let's be honest, we know.
Hanmas can't jump.
Aw, Hamna.
Hanmas don't jump; they fall.
They do. They Kokeshi. Owens attempting the Kokeshi on Hamna. Rude. Got what you deserved for that one though, because you missed. Um, Ishimori hurting his hand, trying to do the Kokeshi. Hamna ends up like dropping it on him instead. Kenta just kicking him because that was what you would do in that situation. The triple Kokeshi though of God and Hamna onto Owens was fantastic. But yeah, that package pile driver that Owens does is just so good. So crisp, so solid. I absolutely love it. I would hazard to say it's one of the best and safest looking pile drivers I think I've ever seen in professional wrestling, period, right now. And there's a hot dozen of those things floating about. We're going to probably see a couple tonight out of the same person.
Are you talking the package pile driver?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, just pile drivers in general, yeah.
Well,
Huh?
Penta has the package.
Penta. Oh yeah, Penta does, but also doesn't Harlan Abbott?
Yeah, he has the J driller.
Yeah. Lots of pile drivers tonight we're gonna see. But yeah, the tension between God and Owens and Kenta, obviously full display in this one. I felt that Hamna and Ishimori were just kind of there for comedic relief.
Yeah. Again, really fun match. It
Yeah.
worked overall. So move on to the next one. I took absolutely no notes for this because I just enjoyed it and watched it. I just have the ending. Zack Sabre Jr. It's Chaos, Ishii, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Yusuke Taguchi. The man with the iron buns versus TMDK's Kosei Fujita, Mikey Nichols, Shane Hayes, and Zack Sabre Jr. Sabre misses an enziguri. Gucci gets the ankle lock, and he turns it into a Muda lock. But Sabre reverses a Muda lock while still having his legs tied up Muda lock style. He twists his body and puts a rear naked choke on Taguchi, and Taguchi taps out. While Sabre's being submitted by Gooch, Sabre's submitting Gooch, and he gets Gooch to tap. Absolute perfection of a finish.
Yeah. That was so good.
Let's talk about the match, and then we'll talk about the promo.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, the entrance was hilarious for TMDK because we had Shane Haste coming out and twerking. And
he's been doing that a lot lately too.
Yeah, it's become a thing for him, and I find it funny.
He was twerking on Sabre on one of the shows I watched.
It was this one. It was this one.
No, it was Sabre was out as like a manager for them in one match, and I remember him twerking on Sabre because Sabre was in like his pants and everything, and he was like twerking on Sabre. I was like,
oh yeah. But like this was right at the beginning when they came out, and Sabre was the last one out, and Shane just starts twerking. It was really funny. Fujita and Yo in this match. Holy heckin' crap. Fujita chopping the holy heckin' crap out of Yo. That was just monstrous. Fujita has just become one of the best wrestlers I think I've seen come out of these young lions. And we've seen Shota, we've seen Ren, we've seen Uemura, we've seen Tsuji all come back. And they are all tremendously good in their own respect. But holy crap.
And think about Fujita. He did it without an excursion too.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. He didn't have to do these year away things that that the other four had to do, and that Nakashima and Loibe are on right now. He went with this faction, and the way they played it is that the faction knew how good he was and they wanted him. And I love that story because look how freaking good he is. Holy shit. This guy needs to be elevated higher. I would almost say that he's better than Ren Narita. I'd say he's more entertaining than Shota Umino. The only person that I would say he maybe might struggle with is Tsuji. Because Tsuji also has that unique moveset. But yeah, what else do I have on this one? The fluidity between Nichols and Haste is just effortless. These guys are so good. They have that LIJ mentality. They don't need to communicate to pull off their stuff, and they pull it off so well. Zack Sabre Jr. and Taguchi was hilariously amazing. We saw G1 Taguchi, I think, in this match, or like Super Junior Taguchi. We saw tournament Taguchi is what we saw. We saw a very serious side of Taguchi, as well as the goofiness that we always expect from him, but it was definitely at a minimal in comparison to how he usually is. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say. I feel like this was like a TMDK appreciation match. Like it
It
was
really
like
was.
them saying, yeah, it was them being able to show off, and I think they deserve more than just a show off match for all the hard work that they have been doing over the last year, particularly with El Presidente. Um, but yeah, that's all I got to say on this one, man.
Well, you talk about the fluidity of Hayes and Nichols,
Hmm.
and those two started tagging together in 2010.
Jesus.
They had a couple year break when Nichols left WWE and Hayes
Hmm.
stayed there and did his own thing. But they
Hmm.
got back together in what, 2021, 2022, 2021, 2022. In that era, whenever they brought the strong tag titles back, they formed right
Hmm.
together right back before then. And they spent a couple years apart. But other than that, like, you remember, there's all that history of these two. So
Hmm.
they for that fluidity makes so much sense, man, because of
Hmm.
how
Hmm.
long these two have known each other. Again, they don't just say a word and they know what the other's going to do.
Hmm. It
I
was
love it.
almost like they are the NJPW version of the Motor City Machine Guns.
Yeah, exactly,
Mhm.
but better, because they're better. Just simply, they're TMDK. They're better.
Might be a matter of opinion and discussion in the comments.
Again, personal opinion, they're better. But Motor City Machine Guns are great. Don't get me wrong, one of the best tag teams I've ever
Mhm.
watched in my life. Post show, there was a promo from TMDK. And Sabre
Mhm.
comes in talking about talking about how Bryan Danielson's facing off against Shishichiro, but he's training against the man with the iron bums, Ryusuke Taguchi, and he's saying he beat him, and he's training with the hardest of the hard, and then and then one of them calls Sabre or Danielson's ass a baboon ass,
That was haste.
and then he also goes on to say, and he's got a loose butthole.
It would also be haste.
No, I know. He goes like that. I remember he saying was the loose butthole. I'm like, what the flipping hell is going on with this promo? But it was so good.
I mean, this is what we expect though out of these kind of promos from these guys in New Japan. I mean, we got the infamous sex pig promo from Will Ospreay in NJPW here. So yeah,
I guess
I
Hayes is gonna be our guy to give us these fucking great things out of promos now.
please. I would absolutely love that because I typically don't like to watch the backstage promos and
Oh,
stuff. But if this is what I have to look forward to, I will watch them.
I will tune into every TMDK backstage promo from here on out because this is just gold.
It is.
Shane Hayes and Zack Sabre Jr. are both gold.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So we're gonna jump over to LIJ versus Just Five Guys. It's building up to the
Oh,
fifth. They're gonna have their big gauntlet. Oh, what? What?
I'm looking at the picture and I thought Sanada was Yuya. And then I realized, no, that Yuya's on the other side. I'm like, is that Yuya though? He looks like Yuya holding back a massive fart.
Yeah, pretty much.
Picture is very odd. Very odd
Yeah,
picture indeed.
yeah. So, again, a lot of the same we've been seeing for the last 10, 11 months from these two teams taking each
Hmm.
other on with the addition of Tsuji and Uemura now. I'm good. I'm going to talk to finish, but I got really nothing else to talk about until we talk about the
Hmm.
gauntlet match from tomorrow or from the fifth
Okay.
show. Tsuji hits the world backbreaker, gets a suplex, but Uemura slips out and he hits a headbutt. But Tsuji hits a super kick. Uemura hits the Frankensteiner into the armbar, and Tsuji taps out.
Hmm. Which I didn't like.
Immediately too. Like as soon as he had that
Hmm.
armbar, and he tapped out immediately because he's like, I'm not letting you wreck my arm.
Yeah, again.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I noticed that also. I thought that was a little sus, but also very, very smart.
Mm.
Something I wanted to just say real quick, I love Taka Michinoku's entrance gear. That tear apart robe is just so fire. I wish more people put that much effort into their entrances and entrance gear.
Mhm.
Doki and Hiromu, every time these two guys get in the ring, it's just freaking fire. The beginning of this match was so good. And then when Hiromu tagged in Bushi, again, it just kept up so good. The rewind kick by Bushi is always a plus. That thing is just perfection. I've never seen anybody, including Rocky Romero, who also does the same kick. I've never seen someone do it so consistently crisp and on point every single time as Bushi. Just
I think
such a good junior wrestler.
the only person I think that's in the same ballpark as Bushi is probably Ray Phoenix, who does the rewind kick.
Yeah,
He's the only one that I think is at Bushi's level of doing it.
I agree.
Because both these guys, it's that lucha ability from both these guys that makes
Mhm.
it so perfect.
Absolutely, absolutely. Last thing I wanted to say is Tai Chi and Shingo. When these two get into the ring every single time, you know it is going to be a hoss boss fight. Big meaty man slapping meat. That's what it was. We usually get the DDT combo from Shingo in this one with the straight right forearm um, DDT combo. This time we got the Ryokan Lariat, which I was very happy. It'd been a hot minute since we had that one. Everyone knows to duck for his lariat, which is a lesser of two evils. No pun intended.
Yeah.
Um, I'm gonna go with the lariat, considering everybody ducks it. But yeah, really, the feud in this one that was the most on display for me, despite having Naito and Sanada in this match with the ramping up to their world heavyweight defense.
Yeah.
Tsuji and Yuya, these two, they're not happy with each other. I'm trying to understand why, because before they had such a camaraderie when they were when the four of them were here and Narita and Shota left first. It was just Tsuji and Yuya kind of holding down the fort with the new young lions of Oiwa, Fujita and Nakashima at that time.
Mm.
So they were kind of holding down the fort a little bit. They kind of were a little bit more bonded. It kind of makes me sad to see them just beating on each other. But at the same time, who better to feud with than the person you know the best? You're going to bring out the absolute best in each other. And I think it's what Yuya needs right now. Because Tsuji came in and established himself right away. He challenged Sanada and he had a banger of a match with him. He's been consistently performing. Whereas Yuya has come in and it's kind of, I don't want to say it's been underwhelming, but in comparison to Tsuji, it certainly has. So I think that Yuya in particular needs this feud with Tsuji to really solidify himself, not only in NJPW, but in Just Five Guys.
Yeah. I would say Uemura's time here has been whelming at best.
Mhm.
Not overwhelming, not underwhelming, but whelming at best.
That's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair.
So we're gonna get into the top four, the big match of this show.
Mhm,
Great Khan versus Alice Coggin. Great Khan replacing Jeff Cobb due to his thigh strain or quad strain. I can't remember what it was.
mm,
Khan with the Mongolian sits on Coggin in the corner, but Coggin fights out of it and then
mhm,
does like whips Khan off the top turnbuckle, and and then
mhm,
he works over the leg and then transitions into like a headbutt style bow and arrow, and then he turns
mhm,
it into the traditional bow and arrow, and then flips it into an then gets into an arm triangle choke, or no, it's
mhm.
not arm triangle, anaconda vice, but then
Oh, no,
Khan
yeah.
gets to the ropes, like just great transition work from Coglin and
Mhm,
Khan, who's the recipient. He's got a lot of transition work to do there too. So like both
mhm,
guys, absolutely great here, man. Um,
mhm,
arm triangle choke. This is where the actual arm triangle choke comes in by Khan, and then he hits an exploder, then back to the arm triangle choke, but Coglin gets the ropes. Coglin slips out of the torture rack into a release German, gets the spear in the corner, the fall away slam for two. Khan with a gut wrench, then Alice Coglin gets one, then Khan hits the belly to belly, then Coggin gets a belly to belly, almost dropping Khan on his head. Then Khan hits a backdrop. Then Coggin hits a backdrop, and they're both down. Coggin then gets an FU for 2. Khan bites the wrist, hits the Mongolians, and then hits the TTD, but Coggin kicks out at 2. Coggin stops an eliminator, gets a forearm, but Khan gets the sleeper suplex, hits the eliminator, gets him pinned with the jackknife pin for the win in like a little over 10 minutes, I think it was. Yeah.
I mercifully don't have a ton of notes on this, so this one will be quick. As you mentioned at the beginning, Coughlin, super technical. Not something we're used to seeing with him. He does have that technical ability, but it's not something that he typically pulls out because this guy is usually just the raw power kind of wrestler, and we usually see Gabe Kidd doing that kind of technical thing. I don't know, maybe because Kidd wasn't in this match with him, he felt more comfortable bringing out that side. But also, Great Khan, as mentioned, he is a tremendous technical wrestling talent, and you have to fight fire with fire when you're fighting the Great Khan. All hail. Oh, this match was a anything you can do, I can do better match. It felt like, one would do something and the other would be like, I can do that too. Oh, well, I can do this. Well, I can do that too. It was a tremendous back and forth of these men just fighting for dominance over each other. And in the end, it looks like the Great Khan was a little bit more dominant than Coughlin, which is surprising because he definitely, again, is the driving power force, I think, in this rendition of Bullet Club.
Yeah. Again, really good match, man.
Yeah.
Like, I really enjoyed this. But the next match, holy shit. I don't even consider this a match. It was a fight.
This was a bare knuckle brawl.
As soon as they both got in there, they're smashing each other, headbutts, brawling. They go to the floor, they're Germaning each other, they're beating the piss, they're running each other into the barricades throughout the match. They're running each other into the post. Kidd lariats Henare over the barricade into the fans, and then I think Henare did to Kidd at one point. They're beating the piss out of each other. Kidd does a dive off the elevated area, but gets punched in the face as he come down. Yeah, dude, it's crazy, man. Henare goes for a springboard move in the ring. Kidd pushes him over the top, and they go back to the floor. And it's just two guys. And then Kidd gets some mic at one point and goes, "You're welcome, Inoki," and throws it down and just starts beating the piss out of Henare again. They're just the kicks from Henare in this to the chest were just brutal. And Kidd he's biting the forehead, and they're just beating the piss out of each other. It's hard to call this as like a proper, because it's just the same stuff over and over, but in the best different ways that they did it. Kidd hits a suplex, dropping Henare on his head. Just looked just gross. Henare hits the rampage, and he hits the knee in the corner in the rampage, but Kidd kicks it at 2.9. They brawl to the floor, or Kidd gets a brainbuster in the ring. Then Henare comes right back and hits a brainbuster of his own. Henare ends up like both down, but Henare grabs the hand of the ref to stop the standing 10 count. And then they start headbutting each other. They trade hard slap strikes, keep headbutting each other. And Henare hits this hard cracking headbutt to him, and they both go crashing to the mat. The ref again does a standing 10 count, and he gets to 10. It's ruled a double knockout. But holy shit. If you want to see two dudes fight, this is it.
This was the closest thing to, I think, a UFC or MMA fight in a straight fight from the UFC or MMA in a wrestling ring. These guys didn't really have I don't think, intentions of doing standard wrestling moves. The tension between these two teams is just absolutely unreal. And like Henare has been front and center in it for the whole time. This was pretty much just a brawl. This was just a bare knuckle brawl. There wasn't that's all I have written down is this is a brawl, this is a fight. Punched
Yeah.
out of midair. That was all I got.
Dude, but again, absolutely incredible brawl. And like it's very different from the technical style that we got in the first UE Dogs match. This is the brawl. The next one is more your brawler versus your flyer, which we'll get to in Finlay versus Newman. Again, which we're going to talk about, like David Finlay with Gato versus Callum Newman. The title is not on the line in this match. And Newman comes flying up before the bell and just starts attacking. He's so quick. He's just hitting with all the moves he can early on. He misses the plancha to the floor. Finn runs him in the barricade in the apron, and then he knocks him over the barricade into the crowd. He gets him back in the ring. He's dominating him in the ring, whipping him into the corner hard, choking him over and over again. Newman gets the ropes on the Boston Crab attempt. Beautiful Uranagi backbreaker by Finlay, because the way he just gets the guy up and he just comes down so hard into the knee, it looks so good. Newman fights back when they end up on the floor, drop kicks Finlay through the barricade gate. Look, that looked like a great spot when he goes when he went crashing through the gate, and actually it went bang open and then came back and smacked Finlay in the leg. It was like, ugh. Newman catches a lariat in the ring, turns it like he does he did the Osprey and did a Spanish fly. Like this is literally Will Ospreay Jr. right here. Because he's running for the lariat and he just flips it into a Spanish fly, Osprey style. He gets a tiger suplex with the bridge for 2. Finlay ends up sidestepping an Os cutter attempt, and he ends up just lariating the shit out of Newman and gets a 2 count. I thought he took his head off. Finlay says, "Tell me I'm the man," and he's getting in his face. Newman spits in his face. He's like, "I will not bow down to you." So Finlay just starts beating the piss out of the kid. Starts hitting repeated shots to the back of the head. Hits a power bomb, goes for the cover. The 2, he pulls Newman up, and I'm like, are they going to give Newman a win here? Because usually when a guy pulls a guy up, they do that whole he gets rolled up in the end for it. But no, he picks him up, underkill. That's the name of this one where he doesn't drop down. It's when he's got the guy in the suplex position and then brings his knee up into his head. It's called, at least that's how I heard Chris Charlton call it, the underkill. And Finlay gets the win. But great match, great showcase for Callum Newman here. He got some great offense in against arguably your number 2 champion in the company, and Finlay still looked like a monster beating the shit out of this kid.
I don't have anything to add. You kind of said it all for me there. This was a show. No, this is good for the sake of time. This is good. This was definitely an Callum Newman showcase match, but I definitely went into this knowing that he wasn't going to get that surprise win. Finlay being the global champion, I feel like they're going to try to it's kind of weird, but I feel like the global title is now the more recognized title in NJPW right now over the world heavyweight title, because the Sanada and Naito match at this point hasn't been put in the same front line and front running as David Finlay has, I feel, which I have a problem with, because you can tell when Naito does come out and Sanada does come out, the crowd is very excited to see them, especially in Japan. So I feel like Finlay is extremely credible over there, so he's just kind of adding to the credibility of NJPW overall, which I feel like they need right now.
Yeah, again, absolutely incredible match, and I really liked the main event, but maybe because I was so impressed with Callum Newman here, this was my match of the night. The main event was tremendous, but I was so impressed with Newman. I loved how intense Finlay was here. I gotta give this a match of the night of the 4th. I gotta give him a match of the night because again, it's just it was only little over 10 minutes, but it was just so good. And they had that 20-minute brawl before this, which was amazing. And then the main event, which we'll get to, was tremendous. This was just, I don't know. I love this the most out of everything.
Interesting.
So we move on to the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, Tag Team Championships. Catch 2-2, Francesco Akira and TJP taking on the Bullet Club War Dogs, Clark Connors and Drilla Maloney. They're brawling at the start. Cash sends dogs to the floor, hit stereo planchas. Connors used the chair on TJP on the floor, then places him in the chair and spears him out of the chair. It's a great little spot. Akira runs Connors into the barricade, and then Catch ended up hitting an alley-oop onto the chair. It was really good. Connor spears Akira into a table, like leaned at ringside, and it doesn't break. So Connor picks him up and whips him into it, and it finally breaks. So good.
What's that? Drilla putting his foot through it was what made it finally break.
Oh, was it? I thought it was
Yeah.
Akira on the whip into the table.
He hit it again and he just bounced, and then Drilla came up and was like beaking about something. I couldn't understand him when he gets to that point, and then he just poof put his foot through. I was like, bruh.
Okay, I might have missed that. I apologize. They're just beating the crap out of TJP, whipping him hard to the corner. Then he goes tumbling over the top of the corner. Just a beating the Connor's pouncing. I think it was Akira across the ring, dude. Oh, I fucking love that move. Tree of Woe drop kick by Akira, and then a Tree of Woe stomp. They had him in the Tree of Woe. Akira comes in with the drop kick, and then TJP comes off the top and stomps the hell out of Drilla Maloney in the Tree of Woe. Great combo there, the drop kick into the stomp. I loved it. Connor was spiking Akira off the back of TJP. It just looked good. And then Drilla hits that spinebuster senton to TJP. The War Dogs hit the high low to TJP for 2. Hit Drilla killer to Akira. Connors misses the full clip. And it was really weird because he looked like he slipped off the top almost. I don't know. It looked really odd. So TJP gets a roll up on Drilla for 2, and then Connors accidentally spears Drilla. Catch do that motor machine gun style like stomp and neck breaker combo. And then they hit they missed the knees, but then they hit their own high low they hit a high low to Drilla for 2. Akira gets a low bridge, sending the dogs out. They hit super kick, and then he gets a low bridge, or he gets low bridge. Sorry, I wrote that wrong. And then the War Dogs hit super kicks to TJP. Then they hit Catch's sandwich knees to TJP, but he gets kicked out of. They kicks out of 2. Full clips avoided. Akira run off the top to Connors. TJP tornado DDT to Drilla. They hit the alley oop to Connors. Akira hits the running knee to Drilla and the ropes. TJP hits the running knee for 2. Drilla has a fork, and this scares Akira off the top for the leaning tower because he got forked a while back by Drilla. Nobody likes getting forked, and we have some bad history of forkings here in Alberta. I'll say that right now, from a certain Vince Austin burning a venue because of that forking. Goddamn bastard.
Don't get me started on that one.
And Connors ends up hitting no chaser to TJP. Akira gets speared out of the air, and then they hit him with the high-low, hit him with full clip, and the War Dogs regain the junior tag titles a month and change after losing them. Or literally a month to the day after losing them. January 4th to February 4th. Yeah. I just realized that. And then after the match, the War Dogs all come out and just lay waste to all the members of the Empire that are there. Like, they're all beating them. Like, they're just beating everybody down. It was crazy.
Yeah, that was wasn't this the beatdown when Cobb came out? And Cobb
the Cobb was at the start of the show, but then Cobb came out at the end.
Yeah.
He gets beat down. Callum came out. He got beat down. Khan came off of commentary and he got beat down. Like, everybody got beat down here.
Yeah. It was a very dominant night for Bullet Club, to say
For
the
the
very least.
dogs. For the dogs,
Mm-hmm.
yo.
Those are your dogs for real. Um, let's see, we got the table spot. There was a chop that TJP did to Maloney that was very clappy, and I loved it because it was like that Osprey level clap loudness, and I loved it. When did TJP start bleeding? He just kind of he left at one point. Like there was a part where he was not the focus of the match, and he came back in, and suddenly his head was bleeding.
I think he got caught. Like, I think that was actually like a hard way shot. I don't think he was like him bleeding. I think he just got hit by something, an errant shot, or hit his head run into something, and it just cut him. I don't think it was
Weird.
like I really don't think it was where it's coming from, like the side more, right?
It looked like an eyebrow split, like
Yeah,
what
so
happened to Soy Boy at the RCW thing when he split his eyebrow.
and that's an errant shot split. So it's probably just off of a sharp elbow. A knee could have been going off the post and hitting it the wrong way. It happens, like you know what I mean. Like it. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's
it's
where
just
we're.
usually we see it. And like for me, I didn't see it. So when he came back in and he was suddenly just his face was bleeding, I was like, "The frick happened?" Kind of surprised me. Um, there was a snap body slam by Connors on Okira and Akira.
Mhm.
That looked really scary just because he didn't quite rotate him all the way, and it almost looked like Akira came down on top of his head. Um, the ending got a little confusing for me. There just seemed to be a lot
Mhm.
going on, and then suddenly it was just like 1, 2, 3, boom. And I was like, what the frick? To see also, and I think what confused me a little bit, like I understand, again, I don't want to say it too much, but the forking. I understand, PTSD. It's a thing. Yeah, I can understand that he would be weird about it. It's just the way he portrayed the weirdness in this kind of came off a little awkward to me. Maybe is what was confusing to me. But it made sense in the story, which overall works for me. I was sad to see United Empire lose the tag titles again right away, but I completely had forgotten, maybe just not been paying enough attention, that they hadn't been using the War Dog straps, that they went back to the classic black straps, and now the War Dogs get their fancy new ones back. Even though it meant Empire losing the titles, the point that you made yesterday on Andre Melball Wrestling Talk on OLE was maybe this means that Maloney and Connors have resigned with NJPW. And if Catch 22 losing the tag titles was what needed to happen for that to happen, I can deal with it for now because once the contract ink is done, they can lose them again. So that's good.
Like, and again, like this division could be so much fun because remember, from Team DK, you have Robbie Eagles and Kosei Fujita still waiting in the wings. You have
Absolutely.
you still have the potential of Kushida and Knight coming back. There's lots of great junior tag teams to come back here. I'm super excited. The CMLL guys that they could bring in, like
ABC.
ABC could come back. There's lots, man, and I
Mhm.
look forward to seeing what is next for the War Dogs. Honestly, like, could it
Mhm.
be a feud with Fujita and Eagles? It's very possible, and I would love that. War Dogs versus TMDK. I'm in. Like, that sounds like a great feud.
I feel like they could also use the personality of the War Dogs to give credibility to some teams that are maybe squandering a little bit.
Mm,
Um, Combinations like maybe not House of Torture because they're kind of busy right now, but like Doki and Taka
yeah.
could see some development in there because Doki's already a really good wrestler. And same with Taka. Taka has that personality. Just Taka's usually the fall guy, but we have seen him pick up couple wins over the last couple months. So maybe we could start to see a little bit more development from Doki. on that because I would love to see Doki holding a singles title at some point. Maybe even Yo could find himself yet another partner somewhere in the Chaos Hantai mess. And
Mushimura or whatever the fuck that dude he was tagging with in the tag league.
sure,
Was it
why not?
Musashi or something? I want to say Mushimura, but Musashi or something? I don't
I
remember.
think Musashi is sounds
Musashi.
closer.
Massage, you know?
I wouldn't also mind seeing maybe some other companies working together. Like we've seen Noah working together. We've seen DDT also kind of working with these guys. I wouldn't mind seeing Mao again. Get,
Mao.
get him a partner. Have him go with the War Dogs. Heck, who's the guy with the stuffy?
They could be
Stuffy neck.
They could be Yo Mao. He could bring in. They could bring Mao and
Oh
be
my
Yo
God.
Mao.
Or Mao Yo.
Yo Mao.
That just sounds like you're saying your mouth, and that just kind of sounds a little weird.
Your mouth.
Like, could you imagine? Your mouth. Your mouth. Yeah. No, that doesn't work for me. Mao
Your
Yo doesn't
mouth.
sound any better. We should move on to the next one, though, because you girls got to get ready for another show tonight.
Yeah, so we kick it off for the fifth. Tetsuya.
Tetsuya.
Why can't I say his name?
I
Tetsuya
don't know.
Murashima. I can say Murashima, but I can't say Tetsuya. What the hell?
Hardest part of his name.
Versus Shomakato. This ended in a time limit draw. I'll be honest. I didn't even see this match. Give us a quick 30 seconds on this, Mel.
I don't have a ton of notes on this one, but overall, for a Young Lion match, this was a very solid match. These guys are both very hyper expressive, especially Katsuya. Katsuya has very, very good and very big facial expressions, and Shoma really reciprocated. They told the story of they're both in training and they're trying to one up each other. They're trying to get that superiority. And holy heck, was Katsuya giving it to Shoma. I feel like Katsuya is the smaller one of the two. So I feel like he needs to work a little bit harder with Shoma. But Shoma was so good too. I really, really enjoyed this match. I really am looking forward to see where these two guys go because man, the Japan dojo has really been putting out really solid young lion wrestlers. These guys were tremendous. There was a half crab that Katsuya actually put on Shoma as opposed to the full crab, and he was able to really reef on him so much he almost had him doing the heel touch on his head. It was so crazy, but it was very interesting to see it as a half instead of the full crab, which is typically taught to these guys. It's kind of almost feeling like they're giving young lions just a little bit more move sets and a little bit more freedom with the moves that they can do in the young lion training time, as opposed to just saying, you do the basic strikes, you do the belly to belly, you do the Boston crab, you do this, they're allowed to expand a little bit more earlier on the move set so we don't have the same cookie cutter guys. And they've actually grown their hair out quite a bit from when these pictures were taken. These guys actually have, I would say, hair maybe a little bit more comparable to Robbie Eagles. Robbie Eagles' length of hair. They're
Yeah,
both
because
looking great.
this
Go ahead.
picture makes me think they both look like goddamn children. One just looks like an
Yeah,
angry little
no.
child.
Oh, no, no. Now that they both have hair, they actually are both, and both of them have actually put on a fair amount of muscle also. They're both looking very intimidating in their own rights. Katsuya, though, I think is going to struggle. You can tell a lot from his face. He just has very, I don't want to say happy eyes because that is, I don't, maybe that's the right word. I don't know. He has a softer face. It's very hard for him to pull off big, scary dude. So I think he's going to be a tremendous face. Whereas Shoma really, he can furrow his brow. He can look really pissy.
Well, he
But
looks
yeah,
like him in
this
the
was a
picture.
great pre-show. He does. He really does.
So we move on. Rematch from the night before. Bullet Club, Owens, Kenta, and Taiji Ishimori taking El Phantasmo, Hikuleo, but this time it was Jado. Jado had the crossface on Kenta at the end, but Ishimori interferes. Jado fights him off. Owens hits him with the IWGP tag title. Kenta rolls him up. Bullet Club attacks after the match. Hikuleo and EP run him off. God hit the sudden death into the guts and chokeslam to, I think it was Ishimori after the match.
Chokeslam by Hikuleo.
Like at the post match, like they hit
Oh,
the sudden
after the
death into
match.
the godsend chokeslam. To I think it was
I think
Ishimori.
yes, it was. It was,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Again, fun little match. Very similar to
Mhm.
the night before. They were doing their little bit less comedy in this one with Jado in there, as they weren't playing it up with Hanma as much as how I watched it,
No.
anyways.
They
Yeah.
were playing a little bit with ELP though, as I
Oh
mentioned.
yeah.
The purple nurples were a thing, especially in this match. With ELP. The purple nurple was actually done by Ishimori. And I was very sad and thought this was very mean because again, these are former tag team partners and tag team holders. Because weren't they junior champions together for a hot minute?
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like they were.
Yeah, yeah.
It's disappointing
Worst case
to
tag team.
see. Yeah, it's disappointing to see the tag teams kind of dissolve, but I do like the route that it has taken ELP on because I
Mm-hmm.
do feel that he's helping Hikuleo a tremendous amount.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, so Purple Marble, that pop bomb neck breaker combo by Owens and Kenta, respectively, was so good.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe I heard Chris say that they had attempted it in that tag team match before against God,
Oh, for the
but
strong
that they
titles, yeah.
yeah, but they hadn't like there was some kind of confusion or miscommunication where they couldn't pull it off in the same way, and this was kind of their first kind of like big display of it. It looked really good, I thought anyway.
Mm.
Um, the choke slam to Ishimori was massive. Just because Ishimori, he went all the way up and all the way down. It was like nothing can stop him. He's all the way up. He, if he would have let go of him at the top of that choke, he probably would have launched him into the rafters. It was such a good choke slam, and well done choke slam. Makes me wonder how people mess them up. Um, yeah, happy that God got their titles back. Stole them
Yeah.
back from Kenta and Owens. Is this the final match, or is there a few more matches going before? Yeah, there's a few more matches before their
There
title
is,
shot.
but they're not being shown.
Mm,
Um, is again the next show that's being shown on New Japan is the 11th, and that's where the
mm,
tag titles are on the line. There's matches in
mm.
between; they're just not being aired on New Japan World.
Okay, so for
Yeah.
us as international fans, this is our last kind of seeing them before they go into their title shot. This is a good way to kind of leave it off,
Oh, very much
kind
so.
of, yeah.
Yeah. So we
Well,
move on to we're gonna move on to a match that I really just don't give a shit about after watching the first one. The fourth, I watched this one and I was just like,
okay.
it's the same fucking match, just different ending. Um, El Desperado, Ole Bolton, Shota Umino, Tomoaki Hanma, and Yo taking on House of Torture's Evil, Narita, Show, Yoshinori Kanemaru, and Yujiro Takahashi. Again, like I love seeing Bolton just tossing people around like he does. The power is impressive. But this
Did you
match
count
was,
how many he did?
I think it was like, I can't remember.
11.
Was it 11? I
11
thought it was like 8.
rotations.
I thought it was like 7 or
No,
8.
it was 11. 11, and then he handed him off to Yo, who promptly dropped him.
Yeah. But again, it's good. I just I don't. I'm tired of watching House of Torture. I just am. And the mishmash team Despi Umino, um, is there. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So the end of this match, Narita comes in with the push-up bar, but Umino takes it away, sends him out, and then before he's going to use it, he throws it away, hits the uppercut to Yujiro, rolling elbow, and hits the Death Rider for the win. Again,
Mhm.
match was fine. Just more of the same. Just yeah.
Yeah. I mean, House of Torture been House of Torturing us since they started. I've been saying it for a few months now. House of Torture needs a new leader. that just the leadership for this faction is not working, which is so disappointing because Evil is such a good wrestler on his own without the shenanigans and shit. He's actually a very accomplished wrestler. It's just I really do feel like House of Torture devalues him as an individual, and he as an individual devalues the entire faction with his lack of leadership. I feel that Ren Narita would be a better leader, would have a better ability to formulate the team and figure out things a little bit better. So I'm waiting for Ren Narita to overthrow Evil and kick him out of House of Torture so that we can actually start enjoying this heel faction. Thank you for coming to my Melball talk. So getting into this match. Again, Bolton Oleg with the 11 back and forth yeets. One thing I wanted to mention is he did that on Yoshinobu Kanemaru. Kanemaru was so smart with this because the night before, who was it? He was doing it to Show. Show was just ragdolling it. And you could tell not only was it hurting Show a little bit, because I've been yeeted around like that a few times too. It doesn't feel good on your back. It doesn't feel good on your stomach. So Yoshinobu Kanemaru was so smart. He tucked up. He made himself a little bubble, and he made it so effortless for Bolton to just wee. And but the trade-off to Yo was hilarious because Yo was like, "Yeah, I can do that too." No, B, no, you are Bolton's leg. No, it was really funny because he took Yoshinobu and then he just whack, just dropped him. That's hilarious.
Oh no, he knew he could drop him. That's what he knew he could do.
Well, Mr. Yo, next time you know that you can drop somebody like Kanemaru, who's a House of Torture person, try it from a higher height. Just a suggestion. One of the second thing I wanted to say was Desperado has one of the best spine busters in professional wrestling right now that I've seen, maybe only second to Triple H. It's just so solid, and he hits it out of nowhere and so perfectly every single time. I've never seen him mess this up. The last thing I want to say is actually, comment on Shota's kind of closeout there with the European uppercut, forearm, and Death Rider combo on Yujiro. I've been shitting on Shota a little bit lately. This was a good match for him.
Mhm.
But you're absolutely right. Overall, this combination of Hantai chaos has been nothing but chaos. And I don't mean that in the faction way. I mean it in the glorious, glorious chaos kind of way. This team kind of feels like it's lost. And it feels like each person is on a boat and they're all holding a rope, just loosely holding each other together. And like some of them are getting away, some of them are all close. I feel like in Stardom, with some of the people who are kind of milling about, that new factions need to be formed and old ones need to be dissolved that aren't working. And I feel like Hantai and Chaos are not working in NJPW favor. They need to leave each other and re-establish under a different pattern.
I feel the same way. Like, I think Hantai can go. I think Hantai could stay. I think that's okay. But Chaos needs to go. That
It was Okada's faction anyway.
well, they lost the original leader in Shinsuke Nakamura, but they had Okada to take over, and then Okada's gone, or he will be gone very, very soon. Just end the faction. You don't have somebody to take over. Make it go away. You can let Hantai exist. I'm okay with Hantai.
Let's just keep it with like Nagata and Tenzan and like the aging guys, Tanahashi.
Yeah, and you can have an Umino, so Umino and Despy have association with them just to give them, so they have their
Strong
backups every time.
style.
No, because Desperado's now part of Hantai, which Strong Style I guess was a part of, according to Charlton.
He's still wearing the shirt though. Form it, make it its own faction again.
But then I also look at why do the Bullet Club exist? Because we have the War Dogs. The War Dogs can just be the War Dogs. They don't need the Bullet Club moniker. House of Torture is loosely associated with them. And then you could just let Chase, Kenta, and Ishimori go do something else. Like, they could just be the Japanese section of the Rogue Army, if you for all intents and purposes. Like, you don't need the name Bullet Club anymore. That's the thing. That name could just go away at this point.
I mean, I think it should stay on the War Dogs at the very, very least, because I feel like that's kind of actually what helped them a lot establish themselves. Do they require it now? Maybe not. But if we're going with like faction naming and stuff, I have been telling you House of Torture is not a part of Bullet Club since they formed. They're not, they don't help anybody but themselves. That like and the other Bullet Club doesn't help them either. And then they get in the ring together and just like, "Hey, too sweet, da, 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 and I'm gonna kick you in the balls and let the big dick choke you." And like, yeah, this isn't a faction. If you guys don't like each other, don't share the frickin' name. It's House of Torture. It's not Bullet Club. Um, but like Kenta Ishimori and Chase Owens, I mean, they're the OG Bullet Club. They can't not be Bullet Club if they're still associated to me. But that being said, I do feel that the era of Bullet Club that they were all attached to doesn't exist anymore. So I definitely feel like they should rebrand. Um, I do think they should keep the Bullet Club moniker, but I do agree that
Rogue
they should.
Army.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, why couldn't Chase and Gishimori and Kenta all align themselves with Fale and Bonza? Is that his name?
Jack Bonza. Well,
Yeah, Jack
there's a
Bonza.
bunch more of them in Tamashi. It's a whole faction in Tamashi, the Rogue Army. So
See, like, and I'd also like to see like ABC, like they're part of Bullet Club too, but like no one really associates with them. I don't understand why. They're actually a very reputable part of Bullet Club because they're tag champs.
mm-hmm.
Anyway, we have to move on though because we are getting late, late, late.
We next match Chaos, Tomohiro Ishii and Toriano teaming up with from Hontai, Hiroshi Tanahashi teaming up with from Great Bash Heel, I guess. Togi Makabe taking on TMDK's Kosei Fujita, Mikey Nickel, Shane Hayes, and Zack Sabre Jr. The shirt I'll be wearing tonight. Fujita hits the tope con hilo to everyone on the floor. Makabe hits a harsh lariat to Sabre, but he comes back and with the rear naked choke and the cobra twist. But Makabe fights out. Sabre catches the lariat into an armbar, then a triangle, then into the disarmer, and Makabe taps out. Kosei Fujita, though, and they talked about it in the promo, the thick legs, throwing all those leg lariats and the kicks. God damn it, this kid is just perfection.
He's so good. So freaking good. And like, how about that middle finger to El Presidente in this match, pulling off not only a sling blade, but a dragon screw leg whip on the ace. And it was so picture perfectly good. So good. I love that. This match was definitely, for me, a Kosei Fujita show off match. Like there was a lot of people in this, but I felt like Fujita was the star of this particular match. And my goodness, did he star all over everyone? It was crazy. Um, there was also a Tope con Hilo that Fujita did that was just, I don't know how. These guys are so athletic. Soy Boy's the same. Chris Starr is the same. The Alex Rain the same. They just you think that they're going to like the momentum they're going, they're going to end up way over there, and they just go down and hit the mark exactly. It's so impressive.
Well,
Yeah,
was it one of the shows we watched last year? Fujita did the dive over, and he literally the guys had to grab him to keep him out of the crowd. Does he
but yeah,
do?
that was ELP. ELP had to reach up and pull him down.
Yeah, so he didn't land in the crowd. Yeah.
Yeah, because he would have launched himself over the barricades.
Yep.
It's crazy. He's so good. And yeah, the springs in his step are like Kevin Knight level.
Mhm.
So crazy.
Yeah. So we're gonna get into the next one, and the next match officially was 1 minute and 11 seconds. Let's just say that War Dogs versus Empire. Newman, Kakira, Khan, and TJP versus Coughlin, Connors, Finlay, and Maloney. TJP removes the turnbuckle as soon as he got into the ring because they got in first. They're brawling as soon as the War Dogs are out. Everybody's brawling. They're not even in the ring. They're brawling over the floor. Connors gets head scissors in the ring, or gets head scissored by Akira in the ring, and then Finlay comes in and just hits Akira with a chair, throws a chair into Akira's
He
face.
needed it, yeah.
And then the ref calls for the bell, and this is where Connor spears Marty Asami. Finlay hits
what the frick?
Yeah, Finlay hits a power bomb to Akira, proceeds to beat him down. The War Dogs gang up on Khan. They're just beating down all the members of the Empire. They just destroy Newman. They destroy TJP. TJP finally gets the miss to Finlay, but then he hits him with the shillelagh shot. This is where they put the dog collar on Akira, and Akira's like fighting not to get this dog collar put on him. They put it on him. Because they did this to him before. It was in December
TJP.
there.
TJP too, yeah.
Yeah, and they hung Akira with the collar in December. They did it to him again, hang him over the ropes. He's choking. Finlay gets the mic, says, Ospreay, are you watching? You can't save your friends, and your friends can't save you. And then they end up finally ending. And it's just like,
yeah.
whoa. It's that
Empire
last statement before the steel cage.
Yeah. Yeah, Empire pissed as hell. When they were coming out for their intros, usually we get the crowns and we get like Empire here. TJP's like, yeah, cool. Akira's like, Kira. We got none of that. They just hit the ring and they started taking off turnbuckles. They started looking for chairs. They didn't care that they were supposed to be in a match at that point. Yeah, I wrote no intros, just violence, because it just kind of erupted. But yeah, right when Akira and Connor started what felt like a match was when Finlay yeeted that chair right into Akira's face. And I remember it was pretty late when I was watching this match. I popped when that happened. I was like, holy shit, okay. That's a way to do a thing. And then, yeah, this whole time that, they're beating down everybody afterwards was like, what, probably like 5-10 minutes. And it was just that stupid bell ringer, just ding, 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 ding. I was getting aggravated with this. It's like, bruh, they're clearly not listening to you. Just stop. There's no reason to keep going with the annoyance. But yeah, and then the mist in the face was interesting because it was almost like Finlay no-sold it to kind of pop off the shillelagh hit, which I didn't like because that's one of TJP's things now. So you're supposed to react to it a little bit, and I would say in the same way you would react to Muta spitting in your face. So we've seen Muta's daughter is now wrestling and spit and mist and reloading things. And why are you shaking your head? I really liked her match.
I did, but I don't like that she's a carbon copy of her dad. I wish she was her own person. Using the mist, she's using the Shining Wizard. It means we got 3 Muda copies on the go right now. Sanada, Kaito, and her. Like,
I disagree. Only because I don't look at Sanada and see
I do.
Muta. Maybe that's because you are more privy to his history with Muta. But even for me knowing that, it's like I just look at, Muta and I say, Muta has like boundless charisma. That's Sanada don't. So like I for there's a disconnect. And with Kaido's got that charisma, he's got that thing, but to me he looks more like Okada. So I kinda and I look at that a little bit more. So I feel like Kaido is maybe more of a Okada than Muda.
Again, it's a personal feeling for me. That's
Yeah,
just
sure, for sure.
yeah.
But anyway, let's focus on this one because I got us off track there. Yeah, just 5 minutes of bell ring was really aggravating, but I felt that the promo that Finlay put in after this with Osprey and stuff, perfect. Like,
Mhm.
if you were doubting that Finlay was an established wrestler at NJPW, watch this glorious chaos. You will think differently.
Yeah. So we're gonna move
Mhm.
on. Main event, faction warfare match. We got the LIJ versus just 5 guys. So 2 guys start. There's 10-minute time limit on each match. If you hit 10 minutes, both men are eliminated. And if you get a pinfall or submission, you eliminate the person. The next person comes out. We start with the champ and Sanada. The train pinfalls early. Sanada getting the drop kick to the outside, or sending him to the outside, hits a planche to the floor. They rip each other. He's ripping into the barricade. Naito gets a run off the top with about 3 minutes left. Comes back with a drop kick, sending him out. Naito spears him into the barricade with 2 minutes left. They brawl in the crowd. Sanada tries the Paradise Lock but can't get it in. Sanada hits a drop kick to the knee, gets back in. Naito gets in at 19. Naito gets an inside cradle, hits a Tornado DDT at 30 seconds left. They start reversing each other's moves, and the time limit expires. Anything on the first one?
No. That neck breaker over the gate looked rough.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that one. Yeah,
Well, I'm glad because that was the one thing I could say.
there you go.
That neck breaker Naito did to Sanada over the gate looked very, very rough. There was also a tornado DDT that Naito did to Sanada. It looked really, really, really good. But yeah, I kind of feel that this, at first I was surprised, but I felt this was a perfect way to start this match given how the rest of it went.
Very much so. So
Uh,
next we get the pairing of Taka Michinoku versus Shingo Takagi. You immediately know Shingo Takagi is going to beat Taka in this in with in under 10 minutes. I'm sorry. I love Taka, but
He's a legend.
Taka attacks him during his entrance. Shingo ends up running him into the barricade repeatedly.
Mhm.
Dragon screw in the ropes by Taka, and he wraps Lang around the post and does the post figure 4. Great job there.
Mhm.
Taco ends up taking Shingo to the back. Taka comes running back at 13, but Shingo gets back at 19.
Mhm.
Taka gets an ankle lock on Shingo, ties to the legs, but Shingo gets to the ropes. Taka hits a PK and hits a super kick. Taka gets the eye poke and hits sweet shin music and gets a 2 count. Shingo comes back with a huge lariat, almost taking his head off for 2. Pumping bomber, stack power bomb for 2. Then into this Takagi style STF, and Taka Michinoku submits at like
Mhm.
4.5, 5 minutes, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, Taco was taking it to Shingo pretty early, launching a pretty early attack on him, trying to get, I mean, it's the Dragon, former IWGP World Champion against Taka.
Hmm.
um, Lots of ankle locks too, by Taka on Shingo, really trying to take away the leg power of the dragon, which is very smart considering he needs those to do a lot of his power moves. Yeah, this was a short, sweet, nice little match.
So, technically, LIJ is up 4-3 right now.
Mhm.
Taichi is in next to face Shingo. That was not a surprise for me. I figured if Taka's starting it with Shingo, Taichi's going to finish it with Shingo. You're getting the kicks, run Shingo into the barricade on the floor, gets a kick to the back in the crowd. They're brawling. Taichi runs Takagi into a post. He gets a single leg crab in the ring, gets the Kawada kicks. Shingo fights back, does a fake out into the DDT. Shingo does a twist and shout. The Tanahashi twist and shout for 2.
Mhm.
He fires up. Shingo goes for a powerbomb, but Taichi backdrops him and gets the enziguri. Gets the Gamengiri in the corner. Pants her off. Shingo catches a kick, hits the dragon screw. Chest kicks by Taichi, and 2 minutes are left. Hook kick by Taichi and the lariat by Shingo. They wrestle each other around. Taichi gets the toss, or gets the sumo style toss, and Shingo comes back, gets the ground cobra for 2. They're hitting each other. They both go down. They're trading lariats. 20 seconds are left. Taichi gets a drop kick, but only gets 2, and the time expires. Now LIJ is now up 3-2 with members left. What'd you think about this one?
This was exactly what I expected out of these two guys. Like,
Yep.
just hands down, this is exactly the match that I expected. Every single time they get into the ring, they do this, and it's great. Love it.
Yeah. So we move on. It's Doki versus Bushi. Bushi attacks, setting Doki out, but Doki stops the dive. Doki gets a DDT for 2. The trade enziguris. Bushi gets a kick to the head. Doki hits the Jorge Rivera special pin in like a minute or 2 into this match. And Doki gets the win. I was like, okay. Easy way to get Bushi out, I guess.
Yeah, but it's set up for the next one very, very nicely, which is what I wanted to see in this match. So I was pretty happy with that. The only thing else I wanted to add to this is that Bushi's mask, very Mayu Iwatani-ish to me. That nice split down the middle of the baby blue and pink on the other side very much reminded me of Mayu Iwatani's gear. So that was a cool little accident, I guess. Yeah, that's all I got on this one.
So Hiromu comes running out, like a house on fire. No entrance gear, nothing. He just comes running. He must have left that big eye jacket at home this day, and just came running into the ring. And they just go and starts firing off a drop kick, sending Doki out, and hits a drop kick off the apron. Doki stops the sunset flip bomb off the apron to the floor, and does like the jump up and stomps him in the chest, like onto the apron. Then hits a beautiful Asai moonsault.
Yes.
Doki gets the Gory special out of the corner, but Hiromu slips out, or he's holding the Gory special, like the Gory special submission. But Hiromu slips out, but Doki gets the choke. Doki gets the chokey at 5 minutes left. And Hiromu gets to the ropes. Daybreak's caught, and Hiromu hits a Death Valley driver into the corner. Time bomb is countered, but Hiromu sits down on the pin and gets a pin for 2. Trading strike to center. Doki gets a roll up, and then they trade pins inside an inside cradle. Hiromu hits the pumping bomber, but Doki comes back with his own. There's 2 minutes left. Hiromu with the pin, but Doki gets the Doki choky with 1 minute left. Hiromu keeps fighting. He tries to reset, but Hiromu hits Victory Royale, but he can only get 2. As they each are trying to gain advantage, the time expires. This didn't surprise me in the least. I knew it was coming down, and I didn't think Tsuji or Uemura was going to get a quick win over either Hiromu or Doki, and I didn't see Doki beating Hiromu because that would force Uemura to beat Hiromu, and I just didn't see that happening. So, yeah, I think it ended the right way to set up what we got for the final.
I agree, because honestly, in that entire thing, that's what I was wanting.
Yeah.
The whole thing. I mean, the combination of the other guys is great. Like seeing Taichi and Shingo was always a freaking treat. And seeing Doki and Hiromu, always a treat. But I am waiting for a better showdown between Yota and Uemura. Yeah. Take us into it, man.
Yeah, so the time limit isn't removed for this final match. There's no time limit because we have to have a winner here. Back and forth strikes early. Tsuji sends Uemura out with a head scissors, but gets cut off on the dive. Uemura runs some barricade into the post shoulder first. This is where Hikuleo starts talking how Tsuji could get a Colgate sponsorship with the beautiful white teeth that he has.
Agree.
And I'll say this: Hikuleo was really great, especially in this match, because he was
Mm,
talking about his history with working with both of these guys over
mm,
in the USA when they were over on their excursions. They both came to the dojo for a while, and
mm,
he was working with them over in LA when he was training with in the dojo there. I thought
mm,
it was just great insight into these guys in talking about how each of them differed in their young lion world, how each treated everything. It was cool to hear
mm,
Hikuleo there. Uemura working over the arm with the hammer locks and the slams onto the arm. Tsuji hits that sweet tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. Tsuji sends Uemura to the floor and finally gets the suicide dive. Uemura's on the mat and Tsuji over top, but he catches the arm within the legs. Zack Sabre Jr.'s out and snaps the arm with the legs. Looks so good. Very Zack Sabre
mhm,
Jr.-esque. And he works going over to work on the arm. He flatliners the leg. Uemura does that beautiful kip up that he does. Uemura escapes the stomp. They trade shots, but Tsuji hits a flatliner. Then he hits that backbreaker, facebuster stomp combo. And hits this up kick to the face, just like kicks him, just bang, and then applies the Boston Crab. Uemura struggles, he gets to the ropes. Tsuji chops Uemura. They're on launch. They're just and then Uemura just wailing in these chops to Tsuji. Tsuji hits just one hard strike, puts Uemura up top. They battle back and forth up top. Tsuji's knocked off, but Tsuji dodges the dive, um, hits a power bomb, and then to reverse a Hurricane Rana attempt. He reapplies the Boston Crab, hits a giant swing, and then he reapplies the Boston Crab again. But Uemura just fights and fights. He's turned to the Lion Tamer, but eventually Tsuji lets go. Tsuji hits a stomp, misses the Gene Blaster, but and gets hit with an armbar. But Tsuji stacks Uemura for the pin, and they let go. And then he finally gets the Gene Blaster spear for the win. Great finale for this, and Tsuji looking
mhm,
very strong here.
mhm, mhm. Unlike the night before, where he submitted very quickly to
Mm-hmm.
that arm bar, him looking very, very strong in this one. Suji has got to have one of the most unique styles in professional wrestling in NJPW that I've seen in some time. It's just there was at one point where Yuya was running into him on the corner and he just put his foot up and just no. And like it pretty much straight kicked him down to the ground. It was so cool. But like it's again that phrase that I like, that simple but effective, because it wasn't something sensational, but it was something so simple that just looked so deadly and good. There was a chop that Yuya did at the on that Tsuji, sorry. There was a chop that Tsuji did early on to Yuya that was really solid, really loud, really good.
Yeah,
I felt
because he cracked him, and then Uemura just came back, just wailing in chops to Tsuji.
yeah, and the thing I noted about that though is that the one chop that Tsuji did enough damage that Yuya had to turn around and react to it, and then pissed him off enough to turn around and start feeding them back. But something to note is that it took 5 or 6 chops back to match that one that Tsuji had done on him. So very interesting for me to see. The Bostons has always been something that Tsuji has been good at since his young lion days. He was always just super solid and super good at getting those in and then holding them in. And he's kind of a dick about it. He like
Mhm,
sits right down on the small arch of your back so that you can't really go anywhere.
mhm.
Um, just saw a very large Rottweiler just running around the room there. Sorry, got a little distracted. Um, the Bostons look like they are snug and very uncomfortable. And then the transition into the Lion Tamer, where he just fit that knee right in between his shoulder blades too. I was like, why'd you let that go? You were dragging him back to the center. You probably could have tapped him with that.
Mhm.
Um,
Easily.
but then we but then we got some more of the end of the match here, which I actually really, really liked, where he was able to pull off the big swing and the Gene Blaster. So I'm glad it didn't end there, but he definitely probably could have ended it there if he wanted to. That's all I got from this one.
So I got post-match translation from the Tsuji promo after I got it off the website.
Yeah.
Tsuji referred to Uemura's comment that they both need to be fighting for the World Heavyweight title. He said, I beat you, you beat me, nobody moves forward. So he says, on February 24th, you versus me, hair versus hair, and Uemura accepts. So one of them's going to be bald. Hoping it's Uemura.
I agree.
Yeah, not done though. Tsuji says, I have a lot I want to do here, and to do it, I need the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. The story essentially turns to Naito. Tsuji promises Naito that though he didn't know when, sometime soon, he would be coming to challenge Naito and to take the gold off of him. And this is all quoting, I'm just pulling from the article on the website. After holding court over not just 5 guys, but the rest of LIJ, Tsuji left with a mane flowing and a head held high. That is exactly what came off of the New Japan's website. Oh my god, I thought it was perfection.
Yeah. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. The wrong team has the shampoo sponsorship when it comes to the longer hair. Tsuji's hair is just, that is long and luxurious. If we
He's
get
gonna
a
get
Tsuji,
Colgate though. He's gonna get Colgate.
We also have to remember, though, he's got that twin magic card up his sleeve also. We don't want him having to have his brother shave his head too, because that would get confusing. But
True.
I feel that the the lack of hair for Yuya might be the restart, the re-kick of the revamp that I think that he needs. Because though he did develop this character of Yuya Uemura while he was on excursion, and he did very, very well with, I think it was Joe Hendry over there in Impact before it became TNA again. I feel that the character itself in Japan it's missing a mark for me. Um, I feel that maybe it's because he's in a team that where I feel like the leader already lacks so much personality and charisma that I feel like he is by association gaining that lack of charisma also. Um, but I would like to see him evolve a little bit in Just Five Guys into something maybe, I don't want to say he's exciting because he is exciting, but like maybe something a little bit more exciting.
I agree.
Hmm.
I need Uemura to change. I think his wrestling's fine. I just think his character is non-existent and terrible. So yeah.
Yeah, the character it needs work for sure.
Yeah. So it's time to get out of here. You can find
Yes.
me on the X Master on Blue Sky and Hive at that Canada Guy, TikTok, Instagram, and Threads at that Canada Dude. Facebook, you can find me at Andre Melball Wrestling Talk. You can also find us if you're not watching us on YouTube. YouTube.com/at Andre Melball Wrestling Talk. We love the comments. We love to hear from you. So message me there. If you want to listen to us on audio form, check us out at SundayNightsMainEvent.com or on Patreon.com/SNME Radio. You can get the RSS feeds from there. Lots of great content going on over there to cover everything from WWE to AEW to MLW. They go back in time for Continental Wrestling. Lots of from CU Swifts. Lots of great stuff over there. Please check them out if you want to hear us in audio form. If you don't have time to turn YouTube on, check us out there. Subscribe to that feed over there. SundayNightsMainEventRadio.com. Those have been great friends to us. Thanks for bringing us aboard, boys. You can also find me on twitch.tv/our local establishment. You can find me doing the MCU Rebound, which will be coming next Wednesday. You can find me doing the Japanese Wrestling Update with my girl Melball right over here. We're doing a lot of this in short form, talking some more stories from all around wrestling there. So check that out. And then you can also find the replays of all that stuff at youtube.com/at our local establishment. And finally, our boy Mike the Ref, simulcasting all our stuff. You might be watching us there. If you've already go over to this channel, give us a like. If you aren't, go to Backbreaker Video. Check them out, youtube.com/at Backbreaker Video. You can also find Mike live on Twitch at twitch.tv/Mike the Ref, where he does all his AEW watch alongs there. The new Collision show will be coming. We'll be doing 8 Collision watches alongs, so check that out. Also check out his gaming stuff that he does over there. And if you want replays of the gaming stuff, go to youtube.com/@backbreaker_gaming, where you can find stuff from him, stuff from Rick Jules, stuff from PJC, and stuff from the wonderful Kayla J.
Kayla J. Love Kayla J.
And Melball, where can they find you?
If you're wanting to follow a Melball, you can follow her on the X thing at Collins Melball. You can follow her on everything else, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Mastodon, and Blue Sky at Melball Collins. You can also find me on our local establishments programming Japanese Wrestling Update with this guy over here. We're going to be going on next Friday, not this Friday, but next Friday, for another episode, unless something crazy chaotic happens during the week. You can also find me on some spooky ooky-ish on there, which we're going to be coming up with very soon. I'm super stoked about that, so stick to the socials to find out when that's coming out. You can also find me on Astro Pizarro's YouTube channel, where we do our show, Ladies Wrestling Showcase. We do that every couple of weeks, but this girl's busy today, so we're going to be doing it next week, where we talk a little bit more about some of the developing stories within women's professional wrestling. If you're wanting to watch NJPW, you can find it in the link. You can find the link in the description box below. It's njpwworld.com. It is 999 yen, or approximately 10 Canadian. Shout out Sean Spears. But it's more like $7.50 this month, which is Shazam. Really, really great price. Happy about that. Way cheaper than $10 and a great price to watch some amazing professional wrestling. You can watch the shows that we talked about today. And even if you aren't a member of NJPW, you can watch the February 5th show because it is free. That's right, you guys, free. So go down to that link and go check out that amazing gauntlet match that we just talked about. Check out the amazing Yota Tsuji and his very unique style set. Andre, my trusted friend and colleague, do we have anything else to say to the beautiful people?
Just want to say thank you for all the support. Please keep liking the channel, subscribing to the channel, commenting down below, sharing us out to your friends, family, enemies, strangers, all the different like. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you be alerted every time we drop a new video.
Bingo.
And if you're listening to us on SNME, please go and give us a 5-star. Give us put some comments on Apple or Google Play or wherever you listen to us. We'd really appreciate it.
Yes. And that being said, I am your over there is Andre. We will see you next time. Adios.